Hi, I'm Larry Dignan from Constellation Insights, and we're here with Aaron Fulkerson. He's the new CEO of Opaque, and Rishab Padar, he is CTO of Opaque. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Larry. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Yeah, thanks so much for having us, Larry.
Yeah, no problem. So Aaron, let's start off with you. You are a ServiceNow vet, and then before that, you ran MindTouch as CEO, and you sold that to Nice Systems. What brings you to Opaque?
Well, the main thing was when I was at ServiceNow, I was building ServiceNow Impact, which is a product that ServiceNow has for their customers. It drives personalized recommendations of content, training, and experts on demand that help their customers to adopt and drive value from ServiceNow products. When we were building the product, I wanted to take data from our customers of ServiceNow, combine it with data from ServiceNow to train the personalization and to drive business insights for ServiceNow customers. But the challenge was, of course, data privacy and data sovereignty. I was severely handicapped about what I could use. I couldn't use customer data because of data privacy, data sovereignty issues. So I was really struggling to be a huge revolution in data privacy technology, just at the same time that LLMs came onto the scene. And we've seen a proliferation of vendors like ServiceNow who are building really valuable domain-specific large language models for their customers. ServiceNow is doing it for their customers. There'll be a proliferation of these specialized LLMs. And users of those large language models will expect that for many of these organizations that there's some layer of privacy over the top of that LLM that allows their organization to use it without the fear that they're exposing proprietary data or sensitive information by accident or on purpose. So there's going to have to be a privacy wrapper. So I saw this, real revolution around data analytics that's been underway with vendors like Snowflake and Databricks and many others. And then this explosion around AI with generative AI. And the missing component, of course, is really privacy enhancing technologies. So I was approached by Opaque Systems, by Rishab and the team of PhDs from Berkeley, and they have this really groundbreaking privacy enhancing technology. And what they've done is they've built a product with verifiable trust in the DNA of every digital interaction, with an emphasis on providing privacy enhancing technology to very specifically data analytics and AI. And it just was impossible to pass up the opportunity to join the team.
So Opaque's specialty was data clean rooms. How does that work exactly?
Well, I think data clean rooms are a nice feature of these data providers. Snowflake and Databricks, Adobe has a data clean room, Meta, Google. The problem that data clean rooms solve for these data platforms or ad platforms is it makes it a little bit safer for companies to share their data that could include personally identifiable information. However, what Opaque's offering is it transcends like just the data clean room feature. What Opaque's allowing companies and organizations to do for the first time is encrypt your data sets, put it encrypted into an Opaque room with multiple other encrypted data sets using military-grade encryption, and then you can run data processing jobs on those encrypted data sets while maintaining encryption. So it has been the case that there's encryption at rest, encryption in transit, but the missing component for end-to-end security or privacy is encryption at the time of processing. So Opaque has pioneered this verifiable trust technology, allowing companies and organizations to encrypt their data, combine it with other encrypted data sets, and still allow analytics, machine learning models to be built on top of encrypted data.
So, Rishab, how does this extend into large language models and generative AI? Because I mean, a lot of folks are trying to solve this model, and I track a bunch of vendors, and it almost seems like I could almost see myself getting a sprawl of these things in terms of just, like say you use Salesforce and ServiceNow and whatever, and before you know it, I got 6 different trust layers and probably add-ons to go with them. So I guess sort out the LLM, how this will work.
So you're raising a very interesting point, Larry. Fundamentally, what Opaque is about, right, is we enable, like Aaron said, confidential AI and analytics on sensitive data. Your data remains encrypted, but you can still get insights from it. You can still run analytics and machine learning or AI workloads on top of it. LLMs are an emergent and particularly exciting class of AI applications that are evolving as we speak. We have seen a bunch of data privacy issues associated with LLMs and their adoption in the last several months. For instance, Italy banned ChatGPT for a while around concerns of data privacy of user data. Samsung learned this the hard way when they found out that while using OpenAI and ChatGPT, their proprietary information had leaked into the model. So as enterprises are defining and figuring out their strategy around LLMs, how is it they're going to use them? Are they going to be using existing LLM providers? Are they going to be training their own models? Are they going to be fine-tuning existing models? Are they going to be using existing models for running predictions and building their own applications? They have to think about deeply around what sort of data privacy issues manifest within that context. Because if you're training a model, then you don't want the model necessarily to remember your confidential data. If you're using an existing LLM provider and building your own applications on top of it, you want to make sure that your data remains confidential from the LLM provider, that it's not storing your data or using it or not getting access to PII information that is prohibited by regulations and such. So there is a strong need around protecting data privacy in the context of LLMs. And this is essentially a killer application of our technology, because with Opaque, you can guarantee that your data remains protected and encrypted while still allowing these workloads to be run on that data. So our foray into LLMs was a natural extension of our core capabilities around confidential AI and analytics.
So when you say... Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, Larry, to drive the point home, as you pointed out, Salesforce is going to have specialized LLMs, ServiceNow will. Bloomberg will probably come out with a specialized financial LLM, and various organizations will adopt these large language models. And the missing component for many organizations is that they'll be concerned about personally identifiable information, confidential information, proprietary information, sensitive information being used by their staff interacting with these large language models. Opaque will provide a privacy layer wrapper around these large language models, preventing any organization's confidential, sensitive, proprietary data from leaking into that large language model. And the way that Opaque is able to do this is they've been a pioneer in the confidential computing space, which uses specialized hardware. We built a software stack on specialized hardware, which is what allows companies to process these workloads on data that remains encrypted while being processed. And there's a digital signature at a hardware level confirming, verifying that nobody has tampered with the data.
So it's an appliance and then software on top of that?
Well, it's software that takes advantage of new hardware capabilities that are available from all of the major cloud vendors. So it was a hardware that was originally pioneered by Intel 6 years ago, but now it's available on all of the major cloud providers, Azure, GCP, AWS, etc.
Okay. So I guess, where are we in this problem? Like, there's, most enterprises are kind of playing around with domain specific LLMs, which I think is probably going to be it's kind of the holy grail everybody's chasing, right? They want their own LLMs for, their very specific use case within their companies. When do you see this being, when's this pain point going to get a lot more painful?
Yeah, great call out, Larry. So as you pointed out, right now we're in the exploratory phase of large language models inside of enterprises and organizations. It's the exploratory phase. We expect that as we shift over the next 12 plus months, 12 months from exploratory inside the enterprise around large language models, testing out these specialized LLMs into actual production deployments, this is going to be the killer app. We've got to be able to provide to organizations a data privacy wrapper like Opaque prompts, which is what we call our LLM product, Opaque prompts. However, in the meantime, Opaque analytics is being used by financial institutions and a variety of other industries to solve the similar problem around encrypted data processing in large data sets related to data analytics. And I'll give you some specific examples. We're working with financial institutions who have data sets that they can't share across their various business units because of regulatory requirements, or across different geographies. Even within their own organization, they can't share the data because it's first-party data with this business, but I can't share it with the other business. I've got a retail bank, I've got a wealth management, I've got a lending function. I can't share my data. With Opaque, they're able to encrypt those data sets, put it into an Opaque room with other business units' encrypted data sets, and still process this with big data analytics to solve problems like fraud detection, anti-money laundering. Furthermore, we're seeing how they're able to build a customer 360 by adhering to legal regulations, to government regulations around first-party data. Because the data is encrypted, they can still build identity resolution and data enrichment to build out their customer 360, because all the data remains encrypted and they're only able to see the specific individuals that they have in their first-party data, match it with another business unit, and then do data enrichment. So we're seeing a lot of this in market already around our big data analytics product. But to your first question, like, how do we see this mature related to generative AI? We're in the exploratory phase. I think that we'll probably start seeing more of these going into production over the next 12 plus months.
Anything to add to that, Rashad?
My prediction is, Larry, that as LLM adoption matures and LLM ops become a first-class citizen of people's AI pipeline processes and such, LLM SecOps or LLM privacy ops is going to become a crucial component of that too. People will need to think about privacy and security issues from the ground up as they adopt this technology. And Opaque can help address that particular class of problems in a very powerful and easy way.
So what's your, there's something to be said for being, a neutral party. I guess, what are you hearing from enterprises in terms of, various trust layers and all that kind of stuff? I guess, what's your core pitch?
So right now, the state of software and how we use software essentially relies on contractually obligated or contractually enforced trust, right? Whenever you use some kind of software on the cloud or any kind of SaaS service, you're trusting that they are good custodians of your data, which is a problem because now this also your data could be subject to misuse at that trusted third parties and they could be vulnerable to attacks. As organizations move to the cloud, this puts the data at even more risk because the cloud is susceptible to many different types of attackers, both internal as well as external. The problem gets compounded in the context of collaboration because if I am, as an organization, I'm collaborating with my business partners, then who do you trust? Do I trust the other organization with my data? Do they trust me with your data? What if we are competing with each other? There are laws and regulations which prevent this data sharing from happening in the first place as well. So we need a solution that enables insights and analytics and AI while maintaining the data's privacy at a cryptographic technological level. The trust needs to be verifiable. The trust needs to be cryptographically assured. And this is what we hear from companies as well, is particularly in the context of data collaboration. Banks who want to collaborate with each other to identify fraud and detect money laundering, they can't do that right now because of privacy concerns around their data. But it's in their mutual interest to be able to share their data assets with each other and collaborate to solve these problems. What they're getting prevented by is the absence of a solution that guarantees that the data remains private. No one gets to see the data. You don't get to see my data. I don't get to see your data. Opaque gets to see no one's data, but you're still able to get the insights that you want. And that is really what our solution is all about.
So how does
Larry,
how does this impact just following the data trail? Right, like I know companies want to kind of follow they want to be transparent about what's being combined or used or trained, etc.
Yes.
What
processes do you have in place for that?
Yeah, this is the key point, Larry. If I may, Rishab, just to set you up to answer. The key point you're making is going to be a massive foundational shift in how people perceive the need for trust layers. Like you talked about trust layers, and I trust Salesforce. I do a lot of business with Salesforce, someone might say, or I trust ServiceNow. I do a lot of business with ServiceNow. The difference between the contractual trust layer that's baked into the contract I've executed with them and what Opaque offers is that Opaque's providing to any party guaranteed cryptographically signed encryption that ensures that nobody's tampered with your data, nobody can see your data. This becomes increasingly important, as you were starting to drive at, Larry, when we move into an era of large language models where it's a black box. I don't know if it's absorbed my data into that. How do I know? How do I get it out? You can't know. So the importance of having your data encrypted end to end from rest, transit, and critically during processing, this becomes the killer app in this era of generative AI. And Rishab, did you want to add to that?
I think you captured it perfectly, Aaron. But also the fact that this makes getting the data trail, right? It's not that you lose the data trail or the ability to understand what happened with your data just because it's encrypted. With our technology, everything can be verified, audited. You get the guarantee at all times that your data is only used in a way that you permit. It's verifiable by you. It's auditable by you. You retain complete control over how your data gets used. So that is a core tenet of our platform as well. You don't lose that as a result of the encryption.
Okay. Any final words before we wrap up?
No, I think that the key point that Rishab just made is perfect, which is the reality of people wanting to maintain a data trail becomes impossible with the advent of large language models. But Opaque gives the control back to the data owner. It allows the data owner to ensure that their data stays encrypted and they can verify that their data has remained encrypted throughout the entire experience of that journey. And that's giving that control back with verifiable trust is what we're very excited about with Opaque, bringing to market with Opaque prompts.
All right, good stuff, and best of luck.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks.